How well is wind power going to heat your house when it's 30 below?
We have a problem, an energy problem. Think of it like this. Nuclear energy is the future, but nuclear waste inhibits it from living up to its full potential. When nuclear energy is harnessed, toxic waste is a byproduct of its creation. This waste, though contained and buried, is horribly toxic. But that's just how the world works, right? What can you do? Here at Gamma, we don't like the way the world works. We are disruptors and futurists, the people who grew up and remained forever curious and unsatisfied with the status quo. So, when the world tells us we have a great alternative, but it causes harmful waste, we don't try and figure out where we can bury that waste. We destroy it permanently. We are determined to change the energy sector permanently by making all nuclear plants clean by 2030. We do this using microbots to collect radioactive elements from radioactive waste to generate electricity from radiation with nanomaterials.
Hi, I'm Rahani, and I'm going to explain how the first part of Gamma's solution to radioactive waste works. I'll give you a hint. We start small, really small. Gamma wants to do two things. The first is to find a way to sustainably manage and dispose of nuclear radioactive waste. Right now, we just bury the stuff. The second thing we want to do at Gamma is find a way to close loop the system. What does that mean, you ask? We want to create more electricity from the waste. And that's not even the best part. The electricity that we create from the radioactive waste that we clean up is clean energy. That's right. At Gamma, we use nanotechnology to turn radioactive waste into a clean energy source. Curious to know how we plan to do all this? Let's get into it. So to accomplish the first part I mentioned, which is to find a way to sustainably collect and manage radioactive waste, Gamma uses micro-robots to collect radioactive cations from nuclear radioactive waste or contaminated environments. The emerging technology field of creating nano-sized machines is called nanorobotics. These robots are made of molecular components and can carry out very specific jobs because they are programmable. This means that they can be directed to not just do specific tasks, but to create more of themselves or whatever else it is that you want made. What's even more interesting than these bots building things is that they can destruct them too. These bots can take apart any material, atom by atom. Radioactive material is toxic because of the creation of radioactive uranium ions. These ions can form free radicals, which have the capacity to damage proteins, membranes, and nucleic acids. A free radical is an atom, molecule, or ion with an unpaired valence electron. The lack of a pair is what makes them extremely reactive to other substances. Damage is caused due to oxidation and oxidative stress. Oxidation is when a chemical reaction results in a loss of electrons to another species. Oxidative stress is the imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants. Antioxidants are molecules that can give away extra electrons without becoming unstable themselves. The key to Gamma's solution is that the micro-robots are able to absorb the radioactive ions and stabilize them. They're able to do this because they behave as something called an exchange material. These bots remove radioactive ions through something called ion exchange and can later be safely disposed of, or for our purposes, stored until we use them to create that clean energy I mentioned earlier. What happens after the ion exchange is arguably more important. It induces something called a structural collapse. The collapse of the structure, and there are many different kinds, but I won't get into that right now, leads to the creation of a stable solid. If Gamma didn't have the second part to its solution, it would be at this point that these cations can now be safely disposed of. Now for some logistics. To make these self-propelled micro-robots, Gamma will use ZIF-8 rods that have a diameter of 1/15 of a human hair. That's pretty small. The way that we will be able to collect these micro-robots once they're done collecting radioactive ions is through magnetism. Adding iron oxide nanoparticles to these structures makes them magnetic and stable. We'll use a specific type of nanoparticle called a catalytic platinum nanoparticle. These will be placed at the ends of each ZIF-8 rod. What this does is when it comes in contact with some sort of solution like water, it creates oxygen bubbles, and those oxygen bubbles propel the micro-robots at 60 times their own length per second. This isn't the end of the journey yet. Lena will take you through how Gamma is going to take this radioactive waste management to the next level.
Now, once the radioactive ions are removed from the nanomaterials that Rouhani has described, they're used to create a diamond. Now, this diamond is then coated with another non-radioactive coat to make it safe for humans to interact with without feeling the negative effects of radioactivity. By encapsulating radioactive ions within the diamond, we kill two birds with one stone. First, we turn the long-term problem of radioactive waste into a nuclear-powered battery, and second, we create a new source and long-term source of clean energy. Now, using a diamond as a source of nuclear power is a fairly new concept, recently tested by the University of Bristol on nickel-53 and carbon-14 isotopes. This diamond is able to consistently generate an electrical current when placed in close proximity to radioactive material. And then it takes this diamond approximately 7,000 years to release only half of its energy. They've been found to remain effective in extreme environments, making them perfect for operating in places where traditional forms of energy would be lacking.
Gamma is a rare brand of moonshot. Not only is it reaching fantastic and world-changing goals and revolutionizing nuclear power, but it's doing so tangibly. Our idea is not just an idea, it's a plan. Nuclear waste is lethal, but that doesn't mean we have to halt nuclear energy production itself. Gamma helps countries transition to a source of energy that is effective, clean, and now safe by revolutionizing nuclear energy with nanobots. Join us in making the world a better place. Join Gamma.